Mash up the jam. Celebrate the friends before they gone. Mash up the jam. Celebrate the friends before they gone. With your friends, celebrate 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 your friends before they gone. Mash up the jam.
And CJ, though you may not be here, remember that we still love you and we still miss you dearly.
99.9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time here in SPG, it is 8:09, and we are back with you for another commentary segment on today's Activated Morning program here on WEFM. All right. So whether you are, if you're still in vehicles, we're hoping that we're keeping your company in a good way, right? Some of you might still be stuck in traffic and all of that, but you know what? Maybe look outside and see one thing that you admire. Maybe that might help to ease the tension a little bit, right? Whether it's the sun shining that you're seeing, maybe you're seeing children playing or something. Just find one positive thing to look out the window
and get on the live and look at us.
Oh yeah, you could look at us too.
Just go on the live and just,
I am actually looking at the plant outside and how the sun is hitting it. Yeah, so yeah, it's just sometimes it's just the little things that help to brighten our moods and lift our spirits in a way. All right, so amidst everything else that is happening in life, what do you do?
I don't know.
All right. So with the admin, however that song goes. All right. So for those who might be needing help,
I just pressed back this and it go back.
It's something that happened?
Yeah, the phone touched something.
The phone touched something, or you touched something?
The phone fell and touched something.
All right. All right. So for those out there who might be needing an update with regards to Creators Alliance, there is an update for many of you, all right? Because, it wasn't just a Vinci issue, it was a regional issue, right? Several Caribbean islands have been affected by this. So for those who may not know, Liliana Bonsu was released on bail as Creators Alliance fraud probe deepens, all right? Now, she was actually detained in Grenada. So I am reading this from Now Grenada.
No, I was just saying trying to leave.
Oh, yeah. She was actually trying to leave, right? So I'm reading this from Now Grenada, and it is saying, why is it I'm not pulling it up here? This is so weird. All right, let me pull it up on my phone.
No, I just had it.
All right, so give me a second because I had it pulled up here.
Okay, so
got it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so the article says after spending nearly a month behind bars, Lilian Bonsu, who is a Ghanaian, has been granted bail as she awaits trial on a charge of money laundering linked to Creators Alliance. Bonsu, who is 30 years old, was arrested at the Maurice Bishop International Airport on the 11th of April as she was trying to leave Grenada. She appeared before the Chief Magistrate, Francine Foster, on Thursday, May 8th, and was granted 15,000 EC dollars bail with one surety. She was instructed to surrender her travel documents. She is to report to a police station between 6 and 6, Monday to Friday. And she also has to live in a specific area. She's required to reside at a designated address in the Gulf Coast area of Grenada. And she must notify the court if she changes her residence. Yeah. Final thing, she has to obtain permission before traveling outside of Grenada.
All right. So she is one of the key persons. Our persons are actually believing that she was the mastermind behind this scheme that affected several islands. I don't know why, but when I looked at the image of her, I was expecting somebody a bit more glamorous. I don't know why. I am just thinking,
she was in jail. She couldn't be glamorous.
Well, it's true. You do make a very valid point. Let me hush from out indeed. But because of the fact that because if you're scheming, like I'm just thinking, if you're scheming, you will put the money to use in a particular way, but maybe that was also her way of trying to go undetected. Who knows? But you're making a valid point that she was in jail the whole time. So yeah. All right, so that is what is happening there in Grenada. And yesterday, reading this from St. Lucia Daily Post, it is saying that so key players in the Creators Alliance scheme detained in major island-wide crackdown. All right. So law enforcement authorities on Tuesday executed a sweeping island-wide crackdown, dismantling what is believed to be the largest pyramid investment scheme to hit St. Lucia in recent years. So officers from the Financial Intelligence Authority and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force swooped down on multiple premises, arresting several individuals suspecting of masterminding the now collapsed Creators Alliance scheme, which left thousands of investors across the region facing massive financial losses. All right. So the coordinated operation conducted on yesterday was the result of months of painstaking investigations by an interagency task force comprising the FIA, the Major Crime Unit of the RSLPF, and the Financial Services Regulatory Authority. The probe targeted the suspected pyramid scheme, which is believed to have been operating locally and regionally since June 2014. All right. So you could read just a bit more about that on St. Lucia Daily Post. And, I suppose, given that Grenada has done its part in a sense of detaining this individual, who is believed to be the mastermind, or one of the masterminds, and St. Lucia has also done some arrests or made some arrests yesterday. I suppose for the other jurisdictions, we await what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait what's going to happen. And we're going to see maybe if there is a chance of maybe some restitution being made towards persons who were defrauded. But I suppose for persons who might be defrauded, it's kind of ticklish for those who had or got the big payouts. Have they decided to come forward and say, yes, I was a part of this and I benefit in such and such a way? Would they come forward and indicate the part that they played, or would they just rather not say anything at this time because, maybe the embarrassment of things, or maybe some don't care because they made out.
But they're afraid they'll be arrested or, face some criminal charges. The thing is, it's been a while. And if some of those persons, they could have probably gone somewhere, probably living their best life on some other continent right at this moment, unfortunately, because it's been a while. They've had time to run away, as Lillian was trying to do. If nobody knows who they are, they could have very well already left the Caribbean. At least for some time, but we hope that something will come of it, at least for the other islands. Maybe Lillian will talk, give some information on the other people.
Would you though? I don't think I would. Sorry. Just
oh, well, is she alone in the sauce now? Wouldn't she?
But but my thoughts always with this is that, when persons, let's say you're in, should I say this on? Let me see. There are persons when they're involved in these things and they have partners. So they may take the heat. But if their partners, let's say they're setting aside whatever it is that they all scheme together to get, I take the hot water. But
imagine trusting your scheming friends.
Well, but there's no honor amongst thieves. Yeah, well, you never know. And this is why I always have this thing with people who commit, let's say, bank robberies and so forth. Not here, not in the Caribbean, and definitely not in Vinci. But when they get caught, I always believe that the authorities don't ever get all the money. Like, I believe they have the money buried somewhere in a backyard. So they would do the time, but knowing that when they come out, they could probably dig it up. But the thing of it is that what persons would also have to notice that some of these persons stay under surveillance for a significant amount of time, even when they come out. Because if you see a change in pattern, you see they're driving around with a brand name vehicle or a luxury end vehicle, knowing that they just come out of jail, it's going to be questionable, So it's just another thing. But I don't know. Maybe she might just decide to take the rap for everybody and hope for the best.
We're going to hold your money for you.
But you do realize it's a 50-50 chance, You realize that. All right, let's take this call quickly. All right, Dave, good morning to you. Dave, good morning. You hear Dave come in and say something wrong with the phone. Dave, good morning. Hello. Good morning, Dave.
Yeah, good morning. I having a busy morning, so I just overheard you guys talk. Is it some bank robbery or something? I just want to get.
No, the bank robbery that wasn't the main part of the story. We're talking about Creators Alliance, the pyramid scheme, where in St. Lucia, in Grenada, one of the masterminds was detained upon leaving, and she was brought before the courts. And in St. Lucia, they did a sweep yesterday where several persons were arrested.
Oh, well, you see, these things come from time to time, either some criminal ring or something. But what maybe is surprising is that the Caribbean, over the years, you talk about pyramid. Yeah, I remember some years ago there was this pyramid scheme and all of that. We have had so many different negative things going on or happening in our country, but some of us don't like to. Like, I hear you all making a point there about being ashamed to come forward and all of that. And a lot of these things happen in high places, and we don't hear much, or people try to hide according to your company who you associate with and that sort of thing. If you're in the big wig circle, you have to get certain protection until you're exposed. And be that as it may, I was just reflecting on all what is coming. I was just thinking of all that is revealing right now in our Caribbean. I haven't heard any exciting news coming out of TNT from the new Prime Minister, because I know she's a firebrand. Talk about Kamla Prasad Bisesa and so on, and how I hear if she and our Prime Minister, for instance, have any meeting as yet. I haven't heard him speak about her. I don't know, even if he congratulates her on winning. I just say I don't know. You guys might have some information on that and what he had to say about her, because she did pose a threat to him when she was around and made certain remarks, of which Vincentians took note and all of that. But like I said, I'm happy that certain things coming to the surface, like this, the CBI thing, as though the Prime Minister is in charge of that. He knows the ins and outs and all of that. And I'm glad that another regional leader whose mouth, said a lot recently, because the Prime Minister got into their own nation or into their way of doing things, as though they are not independent and they don't know how to run the house, so to speak, right? So exciting. And as to who's going to win the next election, I will make a bold statement, right? I don't know who's going to win, but I expect there can be a real government coming to the fore after the next election. I'm sure that Comrade Ralph must be scared like hell. He doesn't know when to call it, but he's the man who will have to look at when he thinks it suits him fine to call the general elections. But I think he's really can't be comfortable. He can't sleep well right now. Come on, let me hear
All
you,
right.
man. You're the man with all the mouth in the Caribbean.
You too? All right,
Thank you.
Dave. All right, take care. All right, so we are going to head on out of this topic. All right, Jeff. All right. Hi, Jeff. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Angels, how you guys doing?
We
How you
good.
guys doing?
We good, and you?
All right. I'm doing good. Doing my daily walk. Listen, I'm still calling Dave out. I still want him to come on radio and say if the Prime Minister visited the hospital. You're always going to come right back. I'm not going to give up until he come out and say yes or deny it. One or the other. I want him to read what is going on with the ground. You also have Gaffer Brown come out. Let them read about what's going on in Antigua, what the American government is doing. And as for the lady in Trinidad, she makes a lot of promises. Let's see if she's going to come through, because right now she's not reneging. And the promises, the country's in debt, about $4.something billion. She's going to Guyana to get help. Guyana is not really taking a run. But let's see what is going to happen. Roleza, I want to go back yesterday. I'm going to drop back yesterday with Pigeon. When Pigeon about being intimidated by the Prime Minister. A lot of that goes on. But I see that you remember that incident very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
About Pigeon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to draw your mind back about a couple of months ago. When somebody came out and said about Mr. Leacock wanted to privatize some of the projects that's going on now. They want to sell them to private entities. If I remember correctly, you said you never heard him say that, right?
But I don't even remember saying that. I never heard him say it, but maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you said you heard Carmelo, the finance minister, saying that he will sell the hotel.
Yes, I did.
Right?
Mm-hmm. He said if a buyer comes, and this is for Holiday Inn Express, if somebody does come forward, then yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but did you hear what else he said about it?
What
hear what else he said?
What else
He
was I
said-
supposed to pay attention to?
He said he will sell the hotel, even if he doesn't make any profit, and he will use the money to build another hotel in St. Vincent because we need a hotel. That is what he said.
Yeah, but when he said it, I didn't look at it in a negative way, because I don't believe that, or I don't think that government necessarily needs to have their hand involved in running of a hotel. So that wasn't, when I made the statement, it wasn't in a negative capacity. I just made the statement.
Well, I hope so, because I remember when he said, you heard him say he's going to sell the hotel, he will sell the hotel or whatever.
But when I said that, did I also link it with the privatization of the point that Leacock was making? Was it made in that same segment?
Yes, in that same segment. That's why I drew you out. In that same segment, it came out. When the person said that, he never heard Mr. Leacock saying that, but you heard the finance minister talk about selling the hotel. Well,
I didn't. Yeah. Well, okay. So for clarification, this is a good while after now. For clarification, I was not looking at that in a negative light.
Okay. Good. But all in all, everything is well. Everything hot in Vinci now.
Everything what?
Everything is going on.
Yeah, and Carnival too. Now. Real hot.
Carnival, real hot. I saw some of the luncheon and all that. It was good. It was good. I can't wait to buy my package or come down for Vinci Carnival. I have to make several trips to Vinci this year. I must. I must come and see you guys.
You know exactly where to find us. You know what time we will be here. All right?
Absolutely. All right. Great one.
All right. You too, Jeff. Be safe. All right.
All right. Yes.
All righty. So we are looking to head on out. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right, so we don't wait to the update with regard to Caribbean Creators Alliance and seeing what might be happening within other territories, and if there's going to be any sort of restitution or justice for the other persons who may not have who may have been defrauded. All right.
One thing, I'm sorry. Joshua said to say hello to some persons, to the Masons, Anita and Rosie. So Masons, Anita and Rosie, Joshua is sending you some shout outs.
All right. And we are heading on out at this time.